Hey guys, it's Miss Richardson here. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is basically the structure that I want you to use when it comes to comparative essay writing. There is quite a formal structure to it, so I want to walk you through it and I want to be able to give you the time to, study it at your own speed. So, let's go. So now I will obviously send this to you, so don't panic. You can look back on it later, but let me just walk you through it. Okay, so this first video is all about structuring, setting yourself up, setting your planning up. Okay, so the first thing you should always do when you are starting an essay is write out the question in your own hand. The reason I ask you to do that is because it gives you the opportunity to think about each word in the question and really process what the question is asking you. It just gives you that second to think about it. The things that you should do when you're writing it out, definitely highlight each of the key words so that you can make sure that you address them in your contention. So the example question that I'm looking at today is just here. And it is both All About Eve and Macbeth show that ambition equals destruction. Discuss. Now you'll notice the red words, and you'll notice throughout the piece I'll use red lettering when I want to symbolize that I'm using a keyword. Okay, so the keywords in this question are ambition equals destruction. Okay, also just as a side note, the word discuss there kind of gives you a little bit more elbow room, I say to my Year 12s. It gives you a little bit more elbow room to explore, the ramifications of the question a little bit more, rather than a do you agree? Okay, it kind of goes, hey, discuss these ideas. You don't have to agree, you don't have to disagree, explore. Okay, so that's my question. So I've written it out and I've highlighted the key terms. Then what I want to do is write out my contention or my answer to the question, making sure that I address all the keywords. So I basically want to write a contention that addresses the keywords. Okay, now this kind of first write out of my contention will be rough because basically I'm just trying to use those keywords as much as possible. Okay. So the example question is the same, and my contention that I came up with for this question is as follows. Both All About Eve and Macbeth show that initially ambition rewards those who struggle for more, but it can be destructive towards relationships. Moreover, overwhelming ambition ultimately destroys any progress that the masters of ambition make. Okay, so I've kind of got my idea there. And you'll notice that sometimes I'm highlighting words, I'm turning words red that aren't exactly the words in the question. But what they are is kind of like substitute words or something that represents it. So I've got ambition rewards. So I'm saying it doesn't destruct, it actually rewards. Overwhelming ambition, obviously that's the, destroys, destructive, okay? So basically my argument is initially you get what you want when you're ambitious. Then I'm going to say, but it also can be destructive towards the relationships you have with people, which I think we do see in both texts. And then obviously my last kind of idea that I came up with was moreover, overwhelming ambition ultimately does destroy anything that you get. So initially you get what you want, but ultimately you lose everything because your overwhelming ambition kind of wrecks it. Okay? So that's my idea. Now, I've structured my contention quite cleverly in that my contention actually can be chopped up into my arguments. So I've kind of got 3 ideas there that then kind of progress into my arguments. And it's okay that your contention is your arguments. Okay, so let's have a look at the next step, which is all about arguments. Okay, so work out my ideas. First thing I would definitely say is try to base your arguments around ideas rather than just around characters. When you base arguments around characters, they can be quite limiting, and it's very hard then to compare. So if you base your paragraphs, your arguments around ideas, you'll find it easier. Ensure that each of your arguments addresses at least part of the question, okay? They all have to have relevance, okay, to that question. And if you have time during the planning time, it is a really good idea to start kind of briefly, as you're in the moment, listing your evidence about all of, that you would use for each of these arguments. So if you've got time in your planning, and you should probably spend maybe 10 minutes planning. So if you've got time with your planning, definitely kind of come up with your evidence. So let's have a look at my ideas and my contention. So my contention is the initially ambition rewards you, but it can be destructive towards relationships. However, overwhelming ambition will eventually destroy you. Okay, so I've then split that up into 3. Both the texts show that ambition rewards those who struggle, but paragraph 2, but it can be destructive towards relationships. And then my third paragraph is, moreover, overwhelming ambition ultimately destroys any progress the masters of ambition make. Now, the reason I like these 3 ideas is they kind of build from each other. So the first paragraph kind of looks at the initial kind of effect of ambition. Then the second paragraph kind of looks at ambition from a kind of another perspective rather than just like what you get out of it. It also kind of looks at like how it affects other parts of your life. And then the third paragraph really kind of looks at the outcome of the story and the outcome of the morals that are presented to us in these texts. So that's kind of really good for like a high-end response that you kind of build on each idea. Rather than just having 3 kind of separate boxes of ideas, that each argument kind of learns from the next. Okay, so there you go. All right, next thing is intros. So stay tuned to watch just click on the next video and you can see how to do intros. Bye.